Act of the Apostles, chapter 8. Let's start from verse 1, though we actually did verse 1 yesterday, but let's start from verse 1, then we move from there. And Saul was consenting unto his death. So I told us yesterday that the his here was pointing to Stephen, the man of God that was killed by the persecutors. And at that moment, and at that time, there was a great persecution against the church which was at Jerusalem. So the death of Stephen came up. It was not like it was not like it was the death of Stephen that opened up the persecution. There was already a great persecution at that time. So that makes it more more real because it was not like it was after they killed Stephen that the persecution now started. At that time, there was already a great persecution. So, for the fact that they brought Stephen to court, what I'm saying now is in relation to verse 7. So, for the is in relation to chapter 7. So, for the fact that they brought Stephen to court and they gave him an opportunity to speak for himself, right there, it's a great favor. That should be an opportunity for him to just try to say, "Oh, I don't know anything about this," and free himself. But he understood that that period was a period of a great persecution. He knew the cost. He knew that if he decides to preach the gospel, he will lose his life. But if he refuses to preach the gospel and try to say nice things, and he will probably be released. But he chose to preach the gospel. So it was not like Stephen did not know that he will die. He knew because there was persecution at that time. So he knew what's going to happen. He knew the end of that thing that he's doing. You get what I'm saying? So there are men that are prepared for persecution. There are men that are built for persecution. There are men that will remain unshakable even at the face of persecution. Are you there? Persecution introduces tribulation. There's a kind of tribulation that comes during persecution. What is tribulation? You know, the simple definition I give to tribulation is anything that can trouble you is a tribulation. Do you understand? Anything that can trouble you is a tribulation. Anything that can bring your heart to a state of disorderliness is tribulation. Anything that can move you from the state of rest to a state of restlessness is tribulation. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the devil uses persecution to introduce tribulation. He uses persecution to trouble the body. You understand? He uses persecution to trouble the body, to confuse brethren who are willing to be confused, because the Bible says God is not the author of confusion. So if a so-called believer is now confused, it's by choice. It means that that person opened the door for it. If you are a believer in spirit and in truth, and you get to a point in your life where the only word to describe your state is confusion, then you allowed it. The Bible says God is not the author of confusion, meaning that God will never bring you into a confused state. But if you come there for any reason, just know that God's hand is not there. To mean that there's something you did or somehow you just brought yourself to that point. But the good news is, if you find yourself in a confused state, our God is a loving Father. You can always, still go to Him and then He will bring you out because He does not want to see you in that state. Neither does He want to leave you in that state. You understand? God is not the author of confusion, but that does not mean this world will not be confused. Well, the world may be confused, so that we are seeing confusions in this world that there is so much pandemonium and disorderliness in this world does not mean God has now begun to manufacture those things. No, He is not the author, and He will never be the author of it. So the good news is, anytime you see a reality in your life that God is not authoring, you can change it. Are you there? So you don't manage anything that God is not authoring. God will not author disorderliness. Yes, He will not author mismanagement. He will not author confusion. Are you there? So when you see anything that God is not authoring in your life, fight it. When I say fight it, what I'm saying is go to God and put an end to it. Don't manage anything that God is not authoring. It will destroy you. It will reduce you. Are you get what I'm saying? Please take note of that. God is not the author of confusion. You should never forget that. And at that time, there was a great persecution against the church, which was at Jerusalem. And they were all scattered abroad throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles. So, because of the persecution and how great it was, I told us yesterday by the Spirit that the devil uses his trained men to lead persecution. The devil uses his trained men. You see, the same way God is a teacher, the devil is also a teacher. So the same way God will train his men, the devil is also training his men. So you don't have to be a mediocre. You cannot be a fool. Somebody must train you. And you get what I'm saying? So even the devil will not work with an unschooled person. They will school you. Spirit will school you. They have their syllabus. You want to work with them? They will school you. They will teach you. Spirits, there's what we call spirit syllabus. So they will school you. They will teach you. They have their syllabus. There are things they want you to know for you to work with them. So they have to teach you to be able to know how to deal with them and how to respond to the things that they are saying to you. What of how to even carry out their assignments, and what of how to hear them. Are you there? So that's why they have to school you so that it will be easy for you to flow with them. So the devil has his men, the men he has trained. Are you there? And it is this particular people that he sends out, are you there, to persecute. They are the ones that he uses to bring tribulation into a reality. Are you getting what I'm saying? Now, when the Bible says that God is not the author of confusion, I just need to, expatiate more on that point so that, so that you will really understand what the Bible is saying. So, when the Bible says God is not the author of confusion, what does it mean? What it actually means is that the children of God will never manufacture confusion. Let me make it more simpler. It means that the children of God you will never find a child of God doing something that can stir confusion in the body. Are you getting what I'm saying? Please pay attention to me. The world may see you as a controversial preacher. Maybe because they don't understand some of the things that you're saying. Are you there? Maybe because they don't have the understanding. They have not come. Those things you are sharing has not yet been given to them. So in that kind of situation, they can just tag you controversial. So the world may call you controversial. But you see, a child of God should not desire to be controversial. Don't come and say, well, me, I'm a controversial preacher. There's no honor in that. When you say controversial preacher, what it means is a preacher whose message brings controversy. A preacher whose message brings confusion. God does not utter those things. So it means you cannot find it in his people, in his children. The world may call us controversial because they don't understand us. But we should not do ministry because we want to be controversial. There's no glory in the fact that you are talking and people cannot understand what you're saying. There's no glory there. There is no glory in that. Are you there? So you don't desire to be controversial. Are you there? You don't desire it. It's not something to desire. But the world may see you in that light. It's okay. But you don't do what you are doing because you want to be such a person. There are people that they come up with big things and then they say it. They deliberately, I've seen a lot of that on WhatsApp. People deliberately type things. They know it will be controversial. They know it will lead to argument. They know it will lead to confusion. They type it and they stop. The people begin to ask, what is this? Why is this? What's the meaning of this? They did it intentionally. Well, I want to believe that, some of these people are actually attention seeker. They want to get attention. They want people to focus on them. And then some people are so desperate for attention that they don't care. They don't care. They can say Jesus is in hell. And everyone that believes in him will spend eternity in hell. And then they put full stop. There's nothing they cannot do. When you become too conscious of people, oh, are they looking at me? Okay, are we live now? Okay. How many people are following the live? Okay, how many views do we have? Okay, I just posted yesterday. Let me go and check my post yesterday. How many likes do I have? How many people shared? When you become too conscious of those things, you become controversial. Are you there? If you lose your focus on Jesus and your focus now shifts to men, you can't escape it. You become controversial because that's what the world wants. They want confusion. They love confusion much more than clarity. That's the mystery. When you come to the world and you bring clarity to them, they fight it. What they are supposed to celebrate, they fight. What they are supposed to fight, they celebrate. But when you come with something confusing, it's not even clear, they say, yes, this one is a man of God. You get what I'm saying? Let me give you an example. There are people that I'm trying to remember. I can't really remember the exact thing. I've seen a particular person just came up to Facebook and just typed something. Um, you know, you know, uh, you know. Some people deliberately come up with something. They just type it short. Are you there? Maybe they want to get people's attention, or they are trying to, maybe captivate. I don't even know for what reason. You see, we must understand that as a minister of God, it's not about the people. Are you there? There are a lot of funny things happening online these days. Some people do things and they pay people to get more views, and then I just wonder. I don't think it is necessary. You understand? Oh, you can sponsor your things and get more people to see it so that they can be blessed. It's okay. But to now begin to manipulate, you want it to look like a lot of people are involved when it's not true, it will affect you as a minister. Somebody came to me, I think it was this year, says, sir, I understand all the Facebook things, like this ministry's Facebook page now. I can help. There's a way we can do some things that you can have like thousands of views. Even when those people viewing, they may not really be real people, but at least you will see that it will show on the place that thousands of people. I said, thank you. I said, thank you very much. We don't need that. He said, what? I said, we don't need it. Let's be growing. Let's be growing gradually like this. Let's be moving gradually so that we know that if it is 2 likes we have there, it is real human beings that clicked on it. If it is 3 comments we see there, it is real human being that did that. And if we have 3 shares, we will know it is real human beings that actually did it. Not that you have 1,000 shares and then those things are just robots. Are you there? We are not to minister to robots. We are to minister to humans. Are you there? But the truth is, when you get to carried away with uh, human beings, what they will say, when you become too conscious of people, you lose your consciousness of God. Are you there? When you become too conscious of people, you are likely to lose your consciousness of God. Are you get what I'm saying? When you become too conscious of the people, you are likely to lose your consciousness of God. So please take note of that. Are we together? All right. So when the Bible says God is not the author of confusion, what it means is that the children of God will never, ever, lead a move that will lead to confusion. Are you there? This is what I'm trying to say. I want you to get it clearly. What I'm saying is, if God is not the author of confusion, it means that a child of God will never intentionally do something, are you there, to generate confusion. Never. So when you see somebody who is doing something intentionally because he wants to generate confusion, that person, there's a disconnection somewhere. Is not really connected, is not properly connected to God. Because that thing he's trying to do, God doesn't do it. So, and if he's truly connected to God, he should not be doing what God is not doing. That is anti-Christ. That's anti-God. The same thing like that. Are you getting what I'm saying? Now, let me give you an example. Though there are still some arguments around this, but more people are coming to believe that Jesus is God because the Trinity, we know that they are one. Are you there? It's just that they are existing in different dimensions, but the three of them are one. So if the three of them are one, it means Jesus is God. The Spirit of God is also God. Do you understand? So somebody can now come and just type in that kind of environment where everybody believes Jesus is God. Now they will now come up. I'm showing you the traits, the characteristics of a controversial person, somebody who loves to steer confusion or argument. He will now come up and say, Jesus is not God. Then he will put full stop. Are you there? That is against the. Are you there? Then people will now begin to react. What is this? What is that? Then he will now come up and say, what I'm trying to say is that, uh, it's not the Jesus that Mary gave birth to, the one that died on the cross. That one is not God. It's not like Mary gave birth to God. Jesus was given birth to as a normal child. That is what he wants to say, but he started with something. Why? He just wanted to get attention. So when he's now start doing that, people now say, okay, okay. But why is he not coming straight in the first place? He wants to get attention. The way the world will, the way they do movie, are you there? They do movie and then they leave you in suspense. Are you there? And then you just see that part one will end. Oh Jesus, help us! You just see that part one will end. Maybe it's a love movie, and then there's this brother, this sister. They want to marry themselves. They love each other, but there's a lot of opposition here and there, and finally the parents now say, okay, all right, since it's the brother you want to marry, you can go and marry the brother. And the sister said, thank you so much. As she's going to meet the brother, they will now write the end of part one. Hi! Everybody will say, oh my God, when will part two be out now? Part two is out again. The thing continues. Now, the parent of the brother now says, all right, you can go and marry the girl. Thank you, mommy. As the brother is wanting to go and meet the sister. The end of part two. Can you see that? Then you are expecting part three again. That's why I don't really watch movies, because I see it as I'm sorry, but for me, I see it as a waste of time because I think I have a lot of things to do. All this suspense thing keeping me. I want to watch part three. I can't sit and be watching part. I've done it before. But I can't sit and be doing part one, part two, part seven, part 10. I don't. I can't risk it. I will just die. Because at the end of the day, I will look like a sinner. Because the hours I'll spend on those things, if I listen to messages, I know what I will have gained. Please don't get me wrong. It's not bad to watch movies either, but you just have to be very wise to ensure that it does not affect the necessary things you want to do. Are you there? So then they bring up part three again, and then in part three, they want to. They are already planning their wedding now. As the husband is coming in the car, they there was this kind of accident, and then you heard the gunshot. Pa. They now type, a man was killed. Who is this man that died? Is it the husband of the sister or one of the escort of the bridegroom? You will know in part four. You say, oh, you too, you'll be expecting part four because you want to know, is it the brother that died? Oh my God, this movie is, oh, is it the brother? I just pray it's not the brother. So you too, you're expecting part four. Are you there? It's good for them because it's movie they are doing. They have to keep you in suspense. Do you get what I'm saying? But you see, ministry is not like that. Ministration is not like that. You don't keep people in suspense in ministration, in your preaching. You don't preach with that. That's the problem. Some people now come and copy that thing, and then they are now doing ministry with it. No, you don't preach with the aim of keeping people in suspense. You will be wrong. As a matter of fact, that thing you are doing will be evil. So, what's the goal of preaching? You preach to bring clarity. As you are preaching, your goal is, Lord, help me. Everything I'm saying, my people must understand. The people listening to me must get it. You preach with the aim of, you know, bringing clarity, not bringing suspense. Either it is acceptable for the movie industries to do that, either because that's one thing that helps the people to keep watching. But we cannot do that in ministry. We can't do that when we are ministering to people. So you want to teach on the book of John, and then you now suddenly cut it somewhere. Why? Don't worry. And people are saying, "Sir, we don't really understand." Don't worry, you understand next week when we come next week. No, it's not. It's not like that. It's not like that. Of course, you can teach series, but you see, each of your series must come with clarity. It must come with clarity because God is not the author of confusion. So if there is no clarity, we can suspect confusion. Where there is no clarity, so confusion will likely reign there. Confusion will reign there. So let's know the things that God is authoring as children of God are there so that we will flow in that direction. And let's also do well to know the things that God is not authoring so that we will not bend in that direction. We will not move towards that direction. Do you understand what I'm saying? Aha. All right, let's continue with our reading. Um, and they were all scattered abroad throughout the regions of Judea, Samaria, except the apostles. So the other people, they were spreading, they were scattering. Scattering. Are you there? They were scattering abroad. And God used that scattering because it was the persecution that opened the door for tribulation. Are you there? Persecution will always open the door for tribulation. So when the devil wants to bring tribulation, it begins with persecution. Do you understand? So when they began to scatter, they began to move to new territories. Though God used that scattering as a way of spreading the gospel because fellowship began from those, they now have different centers, and those centers grew. That was what actually led to the spread of the gospel that we now have now. So when you see the devil persecuting people, when you see persecution, of course there will be pain, there will be fear, there will be panicking everywhere. But see, in that situation, God will still do something that will favor the church. That's one thing I want you to note. Even in that same persecution, God will still do something that will favor the church. It will start with scattering, but at the end of the day, are you there? God is gathering. God will be gathering souls even in that scattering. God will be what? Gathering souls even in that scattering. Are you there? So you don't do ministry to keep people in suspense. We can teach series, but you see, that little you want to teach in series one, bring people into understanding. Let them have clarity. Don't leave them guessing. Are you there? Don't bring worldly approach into spiritual things. If I want to teach 2 verses, I will ensure you understand it. So the next time I'm coming, maybe I want to teach another 2 verses. I will ensure you understand it. Not that you don't know the 2 verses, then I say, don't worry, you will know it next time. No. Because it's a waste of time. If you sit and you don't even understand what I'm teaching, you are wasting your time. At least by the time you are done spending your time listening to the teaching, you should be able to hold on to at least one sentence. Okay, I've learned this one. Are you there? Now let's move to verse 2. And devout men carried Stephen. Hmm. Hmm. And devout men carried Stephen to his burial and made a great lamentation over him. They cried, they cried, they cried, oh Stephen, they cried. No, because Stephen was one of the shining stars. They cried. This man of God, he's different from maybe Stephen died from sickness. Are you there? So the death of Stephen created a serious pain. So the Bible said there was a great lamentation. Look at that. He said, I made a great lamentation. That means they had the pain, the death of Stephen created a great pain in their heart. If assuming if he was sick and he died, you will still lament, but it may not be a great lamentation because at least you know that he was sick and he died. Maybe if he had an accident, right, you still lament, but it may not be a very great lamentation. But the fact that you saw him, the person you love, you saw your mentor, maybe your discipler, you saw him, somebody you love who has been a blessing to you, has raised you in the things of the faith, the things of God. You saw him either in a helpless state, you were watching him, and you could not help. That thing can be very painful. So many of these people that had great lamentation, the reason their lamentation was great was because they were aware of what happened to Stephen. And they could not hold back, hold back their tears. How that they could do nothing to help Stephen. Because those people who were stoning Stephen, they were not doing it secretly. The Bible says they went outside of the city. It doesn't mean they went to hide. No, it was in the open. Because they were actually coming from the court of law. So that means the law supports that. Since you have refused to speak for yourself, and then we gave you opportunity to vindicate yourself in the court of law, and all you are doing is you are preaching to us as if we are devils. It's none of our business. Since you are not wise, maybe you are the only Christian, you will die. Since you are not wise, instead of you to defend yourself, you are preaching to us as if we are Lucifer. The law has condemned you. So the death of Stephen was a legal killing. It was brutal. It was a brutal killing. It was terrible, but yet it was legal because they were moving from they took him from the court of law. So that means the law supported that action. So the fact that the people that Stephen had raised is the disciples of Stephen, the friends of Stephen, the colleague of Stephen in ministry, those who have been blessed by his ministration, They saw him, but they could not help until he died. That created a great pain in their heart. So they cried. The Bible says they they made they made great lamentation over him. That lamentation was made, it was created. It was created such that what that means is now they made a great lamentation. So it was made. There was something about how there was something about the cry. It was made. Now it was not now the word it was made does not mean it was faked. Mm-mm. They were not shedding crocodile tears. No, it was real tears. But it was made there could mean that they were so much pained that the lamentation became contagious. No, there's a way somebody will be crying and you come there and you too will just be crying. Because there's something about the way that person is crying that is moving you to tears. That's the exact picture of what was happening here. So everyone that came to join them is looking at the way the people you met there were crying. You too, you just know whether you just have to just cry. So the crying was contagious. Everyone that came to join the burial, everyone, they were just, most people, let me put it that way, most of them were just crying. They could not hold back their tears. So they made a great lamentation. So there was a great cry. There was a great cry. Are you there? And that thing in verse 2 was that the Bible made mention of devout men. It was not just any men, anyhow people that carried Stephen. Those that carried him for burial were devout men. You know what that means? Devout men is not just those that are devoted to a ministry. It's part of it, but it's more than that. Are you there? Devout men in this context means those that are fearless. Those that are fearless. Because when they stoned him, they left him there. When they stoned him until they checked that this man is dead. When he died, they left him. So the word devote means fearless, can also speak of fearlessness, boldness. So it was those devout men that were bold enough to go to that scene and carry his body. Because going there to take his body is dangerous. What if they are still around and they say, "What are you doing there? I want to go and bury. You want to go and bury him? So you are also a Christian." Once you say yes, you are finished. They will also stone you to death on the spot. So it takes fearless men, bold men to go to that spot and carry his body for burial. So, devout men in this context will not only be those that are committed to ministry. Of course, it's part of it, but it also speaks of fearlessness and boldness. Meaning they just concluded that if we die, we die. We will not leave our beloved brother, our beloved pastor to die like an animal, because it's an animal that will die and then the body will just decay on the road. That's how animals die. It is it's a terrible kind of thing. But that's what they want. They want Stephen to just die there and they will just decay there and just. But the devout men will not allow that. They went there and carried his body. Are you there? They were ready to face whatever will happen. If they will kill us, let them kill us. We can't watch Stephen die like an animal. We'll give him a befitting burial. You get what I'm saying? Are you one of those that can be called devout men? Those that will see that there's a need and you will stand and say, "No, I can't be here, and there's this need and that need, and I cannot do anything. Even if I cannot give all, I will give a part. I must be part of it." That's it. Devout men they are supporters. Devout men, they are movers of kingdom things, kingdom projects. Devout men are givers. They give what they have and they give their life. Those people that went to carry Stephen, they had already given their life. That whatever happens, we know we are gone. It's better. But this body will not lie here. No, we can't leave this body here. Here you need to be among the devout men, fearless people, bold, are you there? Committed people. Let's look at verse 2 again. And devout men carried Stephen to his burial and made great lamentation. They made great lamentation over him. They cried, they cried, they cried, they cried. Let's go to verse 3. As for Saul, he made havoc of the church, entering into every house and hailing men and women, committed them to prison. Can you see that? The Bible says, but for Saul did not stop at Stephen. He did not stop with Stephen's case. No, he continued. And the Bible said he made havoc of the church, meaning he actually he brought a lot of harm to the church. Are you there? At that time, the major problem the church had was Paul. You know, Paul was a lawyer. So he was using his legal skills to, to implicate Christians. So he must have also used his legal experience or skill to go against Stephen in the court of law and say, my judge, please, having considered all that Brother Stephen said now, my Lord, just that's Paul now, that's Saul, my Lord, you gave this my client an opportunity to defend himself, and look at what he's doing. He was busy preaching the gospel, telling us about Moses, about Abraham, about Jacob, about Joseph. My Lord, is this not disobedience? My Lord, is this not a nonchalant attitude? My Lord, is this not a disregard to your commands? How can you order this client to defend himself and then he decided to say something else? Is he trying to say that you are not worthy to sit where you are seated, my Lord? Please, we have to do something to what this man is saying. Because, my Lord, this that this man is doing is a proof that he does not regard you as the head of this court, and he doesn't regard every one of us here. And according to the law, anyone who does not regard the law is due for persecution. My Lord, look into this. Can you see that now? That's a picture of what Saul is likely to be doing in that court that brought Stephen into trouble. Are you getting what I'm saying? So Paul has a way of, going against Christians. He has point against Christians. There's a way he presents his case in the court that he will win. Once you are a Christian and you meet Saul there, you are finished. Except God comes down and just use his hand to pick you like this. Well, if you meet Saul there and if you are a Christian, you have a case, and Saul is one of the lawyers, just be praying that God should receive your spirit. Your assignment here has ended. Just be praying for the Lord to receive your spirit. So he stood, I perceive, I'm just assuming now. Because Paul was actually there, Saul was actually there, and he was a lawyer. And it was from that court that they went straight to stone Stephen. And nobody arrested them because it was legal. So that means Saul must have convinced the judge to believe that thing that Stephen did was a disregard. Are you there? Was a way of looking down on the law. So Saul will say, well, my Lord, can you see now? This is why have been moving around persecuting Christians. They do not honor the laws. They do not honor. And this is an example, my Lord. How can I stand before this great judge, before you, the great judge, and be preaching the gospel? I think the gospel is for the poor. Why is it preaching to you, my Lord? You are a rich man. You know those kind of things. And then the judge too said, hmm, 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 hmm. Instead of the judge to say, of course, Saul will say, objection, my Lord. And then instead of the judge to say, objection overruled, the judge will say, objection sustained. Continue. I'm, 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 I'm with you. So, my Lord, we have to do something. If we allow this man, Stephen, to go, if we allow him, he will continue preaching this nonsense he's preaching. What's our business with Abraham? What's our business with Moses and Joseph and those people he's talking about? He's just using them to intimidate us, my Lord. He's trying to make you look like a sinner. That's why can you see, my Lord, he's comparing you with Abraham because he wants to make you look like a sinner. And my Lord, you are not a sinner. I know you are a good man. You are a saint. So please, my Lord, if you allow me to say something, I think this kind of people should be stoned to death so that this evil that he is preaching will no longer spread in our territory. Then the judge said, you are a wise lawyer. As you have spoken, so shall it be. This man deserves to die. Straight away, immediately that verdict was given, Stephen was taken straight and he was stoned to death. This is the message. This is the lesson. Huh? Thank God for your intelligence. We know you are brilliant. But you see, if you don't add God to that thing, if you don't submit to Jesus, you see that your brilliancy, that your intelligence, is what you will be using to serve the devil. Oh, I know you want to go and become a doctor. It's good. But you see, if you don't submit to the Lordship of Jesus, you see, that your knowledge of medicine is what you will use either against the people of God. So there are certain people that you will inject, you give them injections that will kill them because you don't fear God. There are doctors like that. They don't save patients, they kill patients. Why? They don't fear God. I'm saying that as good as it is to be skillful in what you're doing, if you are not God fearing, if you are not submitted to Christ, that your skill will become a tool that the devil will use to achieve certain things in a generation. Are you there? Yes. Even if you are a lecturer, that your office as a lecturer is what the devil will begin to use to exploit the young girls and the young boys there. Yes, you collect money from them, you molest them. Materials that should be that should be 1,000, you sell it for them 5,000. Something that you should give them free. There are people that they can sell just 2 pages of material. They can sell it for 1,000 naira. It's not their fault. The devil is just doing things through them. Are you there? There is no, you see, the only solution is to submit to Jesus. Even if you become a pilot, there'll still be there'll be something about the way you are doing your own, your own thing that we fulfill the desires of the devil. That's why you see people misbehaving. You see lecturers molesting people, collecting, oh my God. Some lecturers, the money they will get from materials is already more than their salary. And they see it as a way of life. It's not their fault. The devil is what is doing something through them. And that's the same thing that happened to Saul. Very intelligent lawyer. Yet the devil began to use that intelligence to achieve his desires, to achieve his mandate. Be careful. Your submission to the Lord is what makes your skill glorifying to God. If you don't submit to Jesus, you'll be very skillful, yet bringing glory to the devil, bringing gains in the kingdom of darkness. May that not be your testimony in the